Hello, and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke, episode number 2. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
And this week we got more comics, more movies, and more video games. So let's go ahead and get started. DC continues with the 0 month. And this week we picked up Batman, Batman and Robin, and Batgirl number 0. The Batman did come in 2 editions. The blank variant cover, which you can get sketches on. And then the standard edition, which is also included in the variant cover. If you just flip the page, you get both covers inside. So Batman, I thought it was really good. You got Greg Capullo coming back as the artist. And there were 2 separate stories in there. They didn't really relate, but there were 2 separate perspectives on the start of Batman. This is what the number zeros are doing. They're giving it kind of a retelling of the origin.
Yep. I really liked this one. What did you think of it?
It was good. You really liked the second part better.
I really liked the second part.
I thought the first one was more enjoyable. There's more on Bruce and Batman, whereas the second story focused more on the Robins and Batgirl.
Well, and the reason I didn't like the first, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody, I'm going to try to use kind of code words, but when all that stuff happened to all those people, I don't think Batman beat himself up enough for it.
Yeah, there's a moment in this issue where he does kind of mess up, and to the point where, the worst thing that can happen while Batman is operating happens to people, and he doesn't exactly, like you said, he doesn't take it. It's not too heavy of a loss for him. Yeah, he's just starting, but Batman is always going to be that guy that's like, no, I should have done more. This is what I should have done. And he does a little bit, but the moment he beats himself up is for like a trivial little mistake that he made as compared to, the ultimate fate of this group of people that he's supposedly trying to save by stopping the Red Hoods. So, and the second part was a little bit more on the Robins, which I didn't enjoy as much, but you really liked it.
I thought they did a good job. I thought they, they gave you, because you haven't seen in this universe how the Robins came about, because every time they reboot, it's always a little bit different. Batman pretty much stays the same, but Robins are typically a little bit different. So I like that we got to see, you had Tim, Jason, and Dick, and Barbara, kind of where they were before Batman, and you kind of got to see that glimmer of how Batman is going to connect them all.
And some of you might be asking, well, what about Damian? And that's where Batman and Robin number 0 comes about. It's essentially Damian's relationship with Talia and how he's always wondering who his father is, when he can meet his dad. And I really liked it. I'm a big fan of all the Al Ghuls, Ra's, Talia, and Damian. So this was just a fantastic issue for me especially.
Made me hate Talia a lot more. I already don't like her. I think Batman's better with Catwoman, but, just throwing that out there.
Look, Damian is the love child of Batman, and it's the greatest. I've never seen a better love child out of Batman and Catwoman, but here you got Damian out of Batman and Talia.
Well, that's fine, but Talia needs, Worst Mother of the Year award for all the stuff she did to that poor child.
Really? Because she created Damian, and Damian is awesome.
Well,
so.
Damian is cool, but he's also all dark and troubled, and how could you do that to your child? Oh, here, you're born, here's this water. Just drown.
What? You know who he's like? He's like Batman.
Yeah, and would Batman wish that upon anybody? No, you have no answer, because he would not want anybody to be as jaded as he is. That is why he does what he does. So no little 8-year-old has to grow up without his parents.
Well, it was still a good issue. I really enjoyed it.
It was. It was written well. I like to see the insight into Damian, because Damian is a very cool character.
Right.
I still hate Talia.
And Batgirl number 0 is the third of the DC issues we picked up this week. That was also good. I was a little bit let down because I thought there was going to be, we were going to be shown why Barbara Gordon can walk again, but I'm assuming they're saving that for later. Instead, it's more of a lead up to the Killing Joke and how she psychs herself up to become Batgirl and to fight crime, and that was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, I'm with you too. It was a little bit of a letdown. There wasn't as much of a story. It's just, this incident made me want to be Batgirl. I don't know. I didn't think it was a very substantial incident. It just, but when Batman came out, that was amazing. Batman's always cool.
Yeah, so we recommend all 3. I mean, I don't think there was one issue this week of the zeros that we picked up.
I would pick them all up. Absolutely.
Yeah. I also read Aquaman, the New 52 hardcover, Volume 1, on everyone's recommendation. People were telling me that the Aquaman book was really good. and I believe it collects the first 7 issues. I could be wrong. But from what I read, it was really good. Jeff Johns definitely tried his best to get people behind Aquaman to like him again. I thought it was a bit much, though. There are points in the book where characters themselves are like, Aquaman, what are you doing out here? There's no fish. And he's just like, oh, really? Am I dealing with these people? And I
Robot chicken!
And the whole time, I'm just like, we get that people aren't the biggest fans of Aquaman, but don't make it this obvious in the book as well. You know, show me that Aquaman is cool by his actions, and they do a little bit of that when he's underwater and he's saving all the people that were taken, and that was cool. I want more of that. So it was all right. I wouldn't run out and buy it, but if you're enjoying the Aquaman series, it is pretty solid from what I read. That first hardcover, I'll probably pick up the second one as well. Next, I think I'll check out Swamp Thing, so look for that. My thoughts on that next week. In the indie section, we got the Adventure Time Marceline Scream Queen number 3.
My thoughts, I didn't think it was as good as the other ones. I mean, it's still good. I love all the Adventure Time series. I think actual Adventure Time I like more than Marceline. I'm not big on her character in the show anyway. But this one didn't feel like it had as much of a story. The first 2 were great. I loved where they were going with it. I don't know. What do you think?
It was funny. I still enjoyed it. You're right, the Adventure Time series overall is better than the Marceline, but it's only 6 issues long. I still liked it. If you're a big fan of the show, I still think the books are better than the show. So obviously, especially if you like Marceline, pick up the book. It's really good, but not as good as Adventure Time. So that one you can probably pass on. Just the Marceline series in general, you can probably pass on. It might end really well, but number 3 wasn't that great. Something else that came out this week. If you're a big Doctor Who fan, the 2012 annual. A little bit harder to find at this point, sold really well. And also on the Marvel side, I picked up Avengers vs. X-Men number 11, which at this point everyone knows who dies in it, so hopefully I'm not spoiling it for anyone. But Charles Xavier does have...
This is the worst book ever.
Charles dies, may come back, may not. It's comic book death.
He better come back.
It was a good issue. You saw Cyclops and Charles Xavier really go at it, not only from a physical standpoint, but they're just talking almost like father and son. Xavier's constantly going on about how much he loves Cyclops and how he should stop what he's doing. And you finally see a pretty decent send-off to Charles. Definitely a good issue this month. And number 12 is going to be the last one, so we're going to see the whole conclusion to the Avengers vs. X-Men. Moving on to movies. I saw Resident Evil Retribution.
Let's just let it be known, you did not spend money on this movie.
No money was spent, so it was as awful as you would expect. I mean, I think it's the 5th in the series, and they brought in Leon and Ada, which is the big reason why I wanted to watch this. But at the same time, I was a little worried. I love Resident Evil 4. I think that's my favorite video game of all time. And to see Leon on the big screen, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. They barely messed around with the characters, both Ada and Leon. And that's a good thing. They were just there to kill zombies and to help them escape. Essentially, it's almost like a new hive that they have in this movie. It touches back on the first one a lot, which a lot of people still think is the best one, including myself. So you do have that little throwback. But at the same time, it's just awful writing, even for the Resident Evil series. The action scenes aren't very good. The 3D, I mean, it's cheap. Overall, it's a very cheap movie. I think still, they're just progressively getting worse.
Well, how do you keep anything going this long and not have it disintegrate? Like, really?
Well, after a couple movies, you figured they can kind of go, well, what aren't fans liking? And at this point, I think they went, well, they like Leon. Let's go ahead and satisfy the video game crowd. And at the same time, some people do still like the Resident Evil movies, so let's continue with some of that. And they tried to mix those two together. And again, the Leon and Ada parts are all right. They don't do too much to destroy the characters, so it's not too bad. But overall, it's just the pacing is awful. The action scenes aren't good. There's nothing to really like about this movie.
Bad movie night.
Bad movie night. That was bad movie night. I laughed maybe twice. The most I laughed at, though, was at the Battle of the Year 3D trailer. If none of you have watched this, go on YouTube, type in Battle of the Year 3D trailer. Watch it. It is very, very funny. That trailer alone was worth the trip out to watch Resident Evil Retribution. I was cracking up.
That was they actually put that in a theater?
Yes.
I thought somebody just put it up online and that's how you found it.
No, it's absolutely real. It's coming out next year.
Oh, no.
It's really, really funny. Kelli,
what world do we live in?
Kelli just watched it not too long ago, and she was laughing too. I mean, it's literally...
It's terrible.
If you want, pause the podcast, check it out on YouTube, because we're going to be talking about it for a little bit here.
Oh, it was terrible.
Premise. Any coach that is a good coach can take a team to the top regardless of what the sport is. So that is what this movie is going off of. They find this coach, he coached basketball. I'm assuming he's retired because they cut to him with sweatpants, hadn't shaved in a while. They come to his home, messy, and this group of, I don't know if they own a bunch of dancers or...
Yeah, he owned the dance crew.
He owns the dance crew, and he comes to him and he says, look, I want you to coach my dance crew. We haven't won in 15 years. The U.S. needs to beat the Koreans. You have to do it. And he's like, but I coached basketball. And that's the movie. You see this coach and...
Well, of course you have to break through the kids, though. Because then you got that one kid who's like, I don't have to listen to you. You're an old basketball coach. I do dance. It's in my blood. Like,
there's always got to be that one scene where... You're right, where it's just like, why should we listen to you? But, oh, wait, he's strict, and he's got some wisdom to him.
Oh, he kicked the best dancer off the team. We better watch out for him. Like, he did not care.
Find me the best dancers you can find. What is this, a girl? That's right, a girl. And then you got to have this girl in the movie now that has to show the boys that she can probably dance better than most of them, and she has to...
And teach them not to be womanizers, and that girls really do have emotions.
And they all learn a lesson, while at the same time finally winning the dance crew competition of the world, and beating those awful, awful Koreans.
My favorite part of that, though, was when they do all, like, the little, they give you the words... Like, they only have one shot. And you have the guy, like, backflipping over the words. When you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I think that was my favorite part.
Watch it, please. It's so funny.
Hilarious.
Also, Disney re-released Finding Nemo this week. What is your opinion on Disney re-releasing not only the Pixar movies in 3D, but also the 2D animated movies like Beauty and the Beast?
They make money.
That's
why they do it. I think when they did it with Lion King, it was brilliant because no one had ever seen Lion King in HD before. So
I think I'm still in the minority when I say I didn't need to see Lion King again in theaters.
But if that was your favorite movie.
I know, and people really like Lion King.
Do you remember how fast we ran out to Beauty and the Beast?
Yes.
When that came out in 3D. We don't even like 3D movies. And it was Beauty and the Beast. And by the way, it was a very good 3D movie. I will give it that.
But Lion King wasn't even nominated for Best Picture at one point.
People love that movie. They love it. So if it's your favorite movie, and like you said, every movie is somebody's favorite movie, if it's re-released, they're going to go out and see it.
Well, regardless, I'm guilty because Monsters, Inc. is going to be re-released in 3D, I think in December of this year, and that's my favorite Pixar movie. I'm going to go and watch it.
Exactly.
And I'm going to cry like the giant baby I am.
They make money, though, because really, how much does it cost them? That company makes so much money. How much does it cost them to fix it up a little bit? Convert it, and throw it in theaters. It costs them nothing, and they make money. I get the emails. I know how much money they make on these things.
So yeah, Finding Nemo is out this week as well, alongside with Resident Evil Retribution and that amazing Battle of the Year 3D trailer. Video games. We just picked up Kirby's Dream Collection. That's $40. You get Kirby's Dream Land, Kirby's Adventure, Kirby's Dream Land 2, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Land 3, and Kirby 64. Not only do you get all those games on the Wii, which most of us will probably be playing on the Wii U anyway, since that's coming out in November, but you also get an art booklet and the soundtrack. Pretty awesome. I don't know if it's as limited as the Super Mario Brothers collection. I'm assuming it is, because I didn't see too many when we went to pick up our copy. But, that's a great value. $39.99, you get all those games and the soundtrack. I love Kirby. Some of these I have never played, including Kirby 64, so I definitely want to go back and play them.
Yeah, Kirby 64 is the only one I've played, so it kind of works. Now I get to see all these other ones. I love Kirby 64, though. That was amazing. And of course, I'm sure the others are just as good.
I'm sure this is pretty limited, too, so if you're out there and you like Kirby at all, pick it up. Again, I didn't see too many when we picked up our copy, so big game on Tuesday, Borderlands 2. I tried going back and playing some more of Borderlands 1. It's good, not my kind of game. I just don't have the time to invest in something like Fallout, Borderlands, Fallout New Vegas, anything that's open world and you really have to put in hours and hours upon hours. I can't. I don't have the time. I can't do it. I'm not gonna say patience because I love Mass Effect 3 and I'll play that forever. But something like Borderlands, you have to be a lot more disciplined for. But that's a big release this week, Tuesday. If you're doing a midnight, Monday night, big game. I think that really kicks off everything that's going to be coming out between now and the end of the year. Also, the Street Fighter 25th Anniversary Collector Set. That one's going to be $149.99. You get an 8-inch Ryu light-up statue, 11-disc soundtrack. I'm going to say that again, 11 discs of music.
Are they like little chimes? Like, ding! Oh, here's disc 1! Like,
well, I'm hoping that, like, it has all the little sound effects as well as the soundtrack. I mean, I doubt it, but, I mean, that's pretty cool.
11 discs, though? How many songs do they really have in all those? I've never played the Street Fighter games.
That must have all of the songs in every Street Fighter. And there's a lot of Street Fighters, because Street Fighter 2 got re-released 7 times or something.
Oh, wow.
So you get the 11-disc soundtrack, the statue, 64-page art book, which is great. Anytime they do an art book or the comics for the Street Fighter series, awesome art. Definitely worth it right there alone. But the games, you get Street Fighter X Tekken, Super Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, and more. A lot of DLC that comes with it. If you're big on Street Fighter, must get. Otherwise, I think the statue doesn't look that good, not very detailed. But for $149.99, if you're big on Street Fighter, definitely get it. And the big news this week, the Wii U pre-orders are sold out in many places. Right, we say sold out, but essentially everyone's going to be shorted out again by Nintendo to create this frenzy, recreate what happened with the Wii.
Right, I remember the Wii. Remember I used to hang out at GameStop all the time. Do you have the Wii? Well, we got one in this morning, and it sold in like 5 minutes. That was some great times. It's smart that Nintendo does that, though. It's really smart, because if you walk into a store and they had 40 systems, well, I'll just pick it up later, because you guys got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But you walk and you go, hey, or, do you guys have the Wii U? Yeah, we got one in the back. Oh, no, they've only got one. I got to pick it up now, or it's going to be gone, even though I should wait till Thursday till I get paid.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, there are 2 additions to the Wii U. Extra $50, you get an entire game, more memory. I think it comes with a stand for your controllers as well. But again, they are sold out in most places. So it's going to be another one of those holidays where
killing people.
People are going to be looking for Wii U's and maybe the Skylanders Giants. I know that's going to release very soon. But are you excited for the Wii U?
I am, mostly because our Wii broke. And I really want to hop back on my Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty excited for Nintendo Land too. I called a couple of the games in there, so
that's going to be like the Wii Sports of the Wii U, I think. It's going to be one of those games that's simply there to teach you exactly how to use the Wii U, what kind of things you can do with it, just give you a variety of things you can do on the system with your family, friends, and whatnot. Good party game, I'm assuming. But
Nintendo did a great job with Wii Sports for being there only to teach you how to use their system. They did a great job with that. So I'm hoping I want to play that ninja game. That's the one I'm calling.
The ninja game?
Yep.
I'm excited for the Zelda one. That one I really want to play. But for anyone that said Nintendo's done, which I never once said, because they can survive off of the handhelds alone.
Yeah.
They can lose money on the Wii U and just keep bringing out Pokemon or Mario on the handhelds, and they'll just more than make up for any losses. But, I mean, this is going to be another successful launch, I think. I mean, you can tell it just by the pre-orders all being sold out. Yeah, a lot of that is Nintendo not really producing that many on purpose, but that frenzy that it's going to create for when the systems are available again, it's just going to sell. It's going to sell a ton of systems. And then Sony's releasing the new version of the PS3, which is another slim with a gloss finish to it, I believe, and that's going to help the PS3 as well. You're going to see a lot of those move. But overall, this holiday season, it's going to be all about the Wii U, the 3DS XL, which is much better than the regular 3DS. It's exactly what people have been waiting for. Better placement on the stylus, better 3D effects, and the battery life is substantially better as well. So I think it's going to be a good holiday for Nintendo overall. Mm-hmm. And the controversial thing was with Bayonetta 2. A lot of people were...
I hear about that.
People were going off on Twitter and on Kotaku talking about how they can possibly do this to the fans, how they can release a game, the sequel to Bayonetta, on the Wii only, a Nintendo platform, whereas the first one came out on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. To me, the best thing... Bayonetta was an alright game. The best thing that came out of it was that Mega 64 commercial.
Go watch that too, guys.
Yeah, once again, go on YouTube, Mega 64 Bayonetta. I think that's my favorite thing they ever did. It's so funny. But if you're a fan of Bayonetta, great. If you're going to get the Wii U anyway, fine. But I would never suggest buying an entire system just for one game. No matter how much you like Bayonetta, if this upsets you so much, don't get a Wii U. You don't have to buy it. That's the bottom line.
I'm curious now, too. Coming out on the Wii U, are they trying to show they are now compatible with the kinds of games that PS3 and... Because typically when you think of a Wii, you think of simpler games or kids' games. Are they trying to say with this, we can make very adult games as well?
Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to say we can compete with the high-definition systems as well. We have this machine that can do all the things they can. Now, the problem with that is you have a PlayStation 4 and the new Xbox right around the corner. The new Xbox will definitely be announced next year. I'm not sure if it'll come out next year, but PlayStation 4, I'm assuming 2014. I don't see it coming out next year. But when those come out, then the Wii U is going to be the lower end system again. You know, it's going to be right back almost to where the Wii is with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox. I don't know what's going to happen with third-party support at that point. If it will still be able to support any games that come out on the new Xbox or the PlayStation 4. Who knows? I mean, only time will tell at that point. Maybe Nintendo will have made more than enough to what they wanted, so it won't be a problem, but, I mean, we'll see. That's essentially all we have this week. Please tune in next week for The Reasons I'm Broke for Episode 3. This was Episode 2. Please follow us on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. And once again, tell us what made you broke this week. # Reasons I'm Broke. This was Daniel.
And I'm Kelli.
Thank you very much.